Death may be the greatest of all human blessings. How people die remains in the memory of those who live on. Our dead are never dead to us, until we have forgotten them. It is natural to die as to be born. Death is the wish of some, the relief of many, and the end of all. No one can confidently say that he will still be living tomorrow. Death, they say, acquits us of all obligations. The goal of all life is death. After your death you will be what you were before your birth. No one here gets out alive. Nothing in life is promised except death. I want to be all used up when I die. And we wept that one so lovely should have a life so brief. Grief is the price we pay for love. They say you die twice. One time when you stop breathing and a second time, a bit later on, when somebody says your name for the last time. After all, what's a life, anyway? We're born, we live a little while, we die. Man alone chimes the hour. And, because of this, man alone suffers a paralyzing fear that no other creature endures. A fear of time running out. The bitterest tears shed over graves are for words left unsaid and deeds left undone. We will all, someday, experience death, and become obsolete as a dead leaf falling from a tree, crushed by passers-by to ashes underlying the earth. The loss of a friend is like that of a limb. Time may heal the anguish of the wound, but the loss cannot be repaired. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal. Love leaves a memory no one can steal. Those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day. Unseen, unheard, but always near, still loved, still missed and very dear. Only a moment you stayed, but what an imprint your footprints have left in our hearts. A friend who dies, it's something of you who dies. Many people die at 25 and aren't buried until they are 75. We all die. The goal isn't to live forever, the goal is to create something that will. It matters not how a man dies, but how he lives. The act of dying is not of importance, it lasts so short a time. Death is no more than passing from one room into another. But there's a difference for me, you know. Because in that other room I shall be able to see. Death is something inevitable. When a man has done what he considers to be his duty to his people and his country, he can rest in peace. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. The truth I have been seeking. This truth is death. Yet death is also a seeker, forever seeking me. So, we have met at last. And I am prepared. I am at peace. To die will be an awfully big adventure. I discover to my joy that it is life, not death, that has no limits. Our death is not an end if we can live on in our children and the younger generation. For they are us. Our bodies are only wilted leaves on the tree of life. I would rather die a meaningful death than to live a meaningless life. Death never takes a wise man by surprise. He is always ready to go. Dying is a troublesome business. There is pain to be suffered, and it wrings one's heart. But death is a splendid thing. A warfare accomplished, a beginning all over again, a triumph. You can always see that in their faces. You will lose someone you can't live without, and your heart will be badly broken, and the bad news is that you never completely get over the loss of your beloved. But this is also the good news. They live forever in your broken heart that doesn't seal back up. And you come through. It's like having a broken leg that never heals perfectly. That still hurts when the weather gets cold, but you learn to dance with a limp. There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. Death must be so beautiful. To lie in the soft brown earth, with the grasses waving above one's head, and listen to silence. To have no yesterday, and no tomorrow. To forget time, to forget life, to be at peace. How can the dead be truly dead when they still live in the souls of those who are left behind? Life is for the living. Death is for the dead. Let life be like music, and death a note unsaid. The boundaries which divide life from death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where the one ends, and where the other begins? There is no cure for birth and death save to enjoy the interval. The dark background which death supplies brings out the tender colors of life in all their purity. Let life be beautiful like summer flowers and death like autumn leaves. Birth and death are the most singular events we experience. And the contemplation of death, as of birth, should be a thing of beauty, not ignobility. Death is more universal than life. Everyone dies, but not everyone lives. Because life is fragile and death inevitable, we must make the most of each day. Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. Live how we can, yet die we must. If being a kid is about learning how to live, then being a grown-up is about learning how to die. When someone we love dies, we get so busy mourning what died that we ignore what didn't. A dying man needs to die, as a sleepy man needs to sleep, and there comes a time when it is wrong, as well as useless, to resist. The connections we make in the course of a life. Maybe that's what heaven is. All that live must die, passing through nature to eternity. Unable are the loved to die, for love is immortality. To the well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure. The harder the pain, the longer the path to recovery, the better the opportunity to learn. There is love in holding and there is love in letting go. Happiness can exist only in acceptance. Good men must die, but death cannot kill their names. Death is not extinguishing the light. It is only putting out the lamp because the dawn has come. The life of the dead is placed in the memory of the living. By becoming deeply aware of our mortality, we intensify our experience of every aspect of life. Every man dies. Not every man really lives. Death is a great revealer of what is in a man, and in its solemn shadow appear the naked lineaments of the soul. Death, in itself, is nothing, but we fear, to be we know not what, we know not where. Death aims only once, but never misses. It's only when we truly know and understand that we have a limited time on earth, and that we have no way of knowing when our time is up, that we will begin to live each day to the fullest, as if it was the only one we had. Loss and possession, death and life are one. There falls no shadow where there shines no sun. The day which we fear as our last is but the birthday of eternity. Every parting is a form of death, as every reunion is a type of heaven. Death does not concern us because as long as we exist, death is not here. And when it does come, we no longer exist. Death is just nature's way of telling you to slow down. It's not that I'm afraid to die, I just don't want to be there when it happens. They say such nice things about people at their funerals that it makes me sad that I'm going to miss mine by just a few days. When you've told someone that you've left them a legacy, the only decent thing to do is to die at once. When I die, I want to go peacefully like my grandfather did. In his sleep. Not yelling and screaming like the passengers in his car. At my age I do what Mark Twain did. I get my daily paper, look at the obituaries page, and if I'm not there I carry on as usual. Death is nature's way of saying, your table is ready. I am ready to meet my Maker, but whether my Maker is prepared for the great ordeal of meeting me is another matter. Life is hard. Then you die. Then they throw dirt in your face. Then the worms eat you. Be grateful it happens in that order.